Hi there, I'm Adrian, and in this video I want to introduce to you the major pentatonic scale. Now this is a super useful scale to know. You hear this kind of sound all the time in rock, in blues, in country, in jazz, and for me I think it's the second most useful guitar scale, just behind the minor pentatonic scale. So what I'm going to do in this video is just briefly explain what this scale is, and then I'm going to show you what I consider to be two kind of must-know fingerings of the actual scale. So let's get started. I'm going to do all of this in the key of A. So A is going to be our root note here. Just playing that A on the 5th fret of the low E string. And I think possibly the best way of coming at the major pentatonic scale is seeing how it's related to the major scale. So some of you might know this A major scale fingering, which goes like this. It's just a simple 1 octave A major scale. So it's 5 and 7 on the low E, and then 4, 5, 7 on the A, and then the 4th, 6th, 7th frets on the D. So that's an A major scale. That's a 7-note scale. We've got A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and then we're back to A again. Now the major pentatonic scale, as its name suggests, is a 5-note scale. So one way of getting to that scale is to just subtract a couple of notes from our A major scale. And the notes that we need to take away are the 4th note and the 7th note. So if we do that, we're going to have this fingering here. So we've got 5 and 7 on the low E, and then we just got 4 and 7 on the A, and 4 and 7 on the D. So you can see that we've just taken out that 4th and 7th note of the A major scale. And in terms of the function of those notes, now we've got a root note, we've got a second, we've got a third, we're not playing the 4th, so the next note is the 5th, then the 6th, and we're not playing the 7th, so then we're just back to the root again. So that's our very simple 1 octave A major pentatonic scale. Now what we can do is we can just fill in the rest of the notes in this position on the higher string. So we're just going to be repeating those same 5 notes in the higher octave. So we can continue on to the G string, and we'd have the 4th fret and the 6th fret, and then on the B string 5 and 7, and then 5 and 7 again on the high E string. And that gives us all of the available A major pentatonic notes in this position. So note-wise we've got A, B, C sharp, E, F sharp. Then we're just repeating A, B, C sharp, E, F sharp, A, B. So that's our first kind of essential fingering for this scale. As far as the left hand fingers I'm using here, I'm playing 2 and 4 on the low E string, then 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 3, and then usually I like to get onto my stronger fingers for this box on the top 2 strings. So I'm using 1 and 3 again on the top 2 strings. So that's probably the fingering I would use when I'm just playing up and down the scale. When you're actually making music, when you're actually soloing, you know, the fingering can vary depending on what you're actually trying to do and what's coming before and what's coming after. So that's our first shape. I find it helpful to kind of relate it to a chord shape as well. So this scale fits kind of quite nicely in and around this 5th position A major bar chord. So I kind of associate those two things together in my mind, and just kind of helps me when I'm improvising, and helps me when I need to find that scale shape quickly. And remember, of course, that this scale shape is a movable shape. There are no open strings, so all you need to do to play in keys other than A is just to shift it up and down the neck. You just need to find your root note, and then you can sort of apply that scale pattern. So this is in the key of A. If you want to play over a song in the key of D, you just want to find your D root note on the low E string. We've got a D here at the 10th fret, and then there's our scale. Like so. So let's move on to a second really useful fingering of this scale. And we're going to start with the same root note, the 5th fret on the low E string, but we're kind of going in a different direction, and we're going to play down here in the second position of the guitar, but we're playing exactly the same notes, so A, B, C sharp, E, F sharp, etc. So this fingering looks like this. We're going to start with our little finger, or our pinky, on the low E string at the 5th fret, and then we've got frets 2 and 4 on the A string, 2 and 4 on the D, 2 and 4 on the G, 2 and 5 on the B, 2 and 5 on the high E. So that's our second scale pattern. And you can include this low F sharp here at the 2nd fret on the low E. That sort of belongs to the scale as well. But I always like to start and finish on that root note, so you're hearing it as an A major pentatonic scale. So I'd kind of go up the scale, down again, play that low note, and then come to rest on that root note. So that's our second shape. If you want to relate this to a chord in terms of the kind of caged system approach, it's really a kind of a G form scale, so it relates to this kind of G major bar chord, which is a little bit awkward to play, but usually I just play kind of segments of that particular chord. So there's our chord shape, there's the scale. Good. And now I'm so sure some of you have already noticed that this scale pattern we just played here is a very familiar shape, and yes, it's actually the same fingering, the same notes as our minor pentatonic scale in the key of F sharp. And this is kind of quite a confusing thing for a lot of players, I think. You've got the major pentatonic scale and the minor pentatonic scale, and it turns out that they share the same fingerings, which takes a little bit of getting your head around, I think. But once you've sort of understood what's going on there, that you've got a major pentatonic and a relative minor pentatonic, it actually saves you quite a lot of effort, because you just have to learn one set of finger shapes, and that's good for both the major pentatonic and the minor pentatonic scale. So what's going on here is that the A major pentatonic scale shares its notes with the F sharp minor pentatonic scale. It's known as the major and then the relative minor. All that's changed is the root note. So if you're playing this set of notes as an A major pentatonic scale, it means the A notes are the root. They're kind of the musical center of gravity, if you like. So you're hearing that A note as the one note. If you're playing F sharp minor pentatonic, you're playing exactly the same notes, but now the musical center of gravity, the root, has shifted to that F sharp note. So now you're now hearing that F sharp note as home, and it's a completely different sounding scale. So although it's the same notes, if you're playing a major pentatonic, you're going to be thinking about and emphasizing those A root notes. If you're playing the minor pentatonic, you're going to be emphasizing a different set of root notes. So I say it takes a little bit of getting your head around, but once it's clicked, it actually makes life a lot easier as a guitarist. So just to wrap up then, one sort of quick little trick that's an easy way to sort of start using the major pentatonic scale if this is a new concept to you. And it's this. If you're playing a song in the key of A, you want to solo using the A major pentatonic scale, then just take your A minor pentatonic scale and shift it 3 frets lower. Then you will have the notes from the A major pentatonic scale under your fingers. So song is in the key of A, minor pentatonic, 3 frets lower, and you've got this. So that will give you the right notes under your fingers. As I said, you might not want to approach soloing in exactly the same way as you would with a minor pentatonic scale, but it will at least get the right notes under your fingers. And then maybe to start with, you can just kind of use your ears to guide you and to tell you what's working best in that situation. So that's it for this lesson. I hope it's been useful to you, and I'll see you again for some more of this kind of thing very soon. Bye bye.